Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. How are we all doing? I hope you're doing very, very well. I just got back from work. I got a little bit delayed, but I've been planning on doing this one for the last while. We've been a bit slow with the uploads because we've had some, we've had some unexpected albums, being that Darko album and then the Slipknot album, which I threw in there as well. So the polls have been put on the back seat for a while, just purely because, sometimes I do like to switch it up and, as you guys say, try out just, whatever I'm feeling at the moment. So, that's what we've done, but we are reverting back to the polls, and today we're going to be checking out Make Them Suffer, How to Survive a Funeral is the name of the album. It was released in 2020. This is a metalcore album reaction. I actually just don't really know anything about these guys other than they're metalcore. I've seen the album is 35 minutes long. As far as I'm aware, I've not heard any of their previous work. Maybe I've heard them, in videos without even knowing it, but as far as I know, nothing. So we're going to go in completely blind, lads, which is always something that I'm excited to do because there's no preconceptions other than the fact that I believe this album will be somewhat decent because it did win the poll, and there's been some big albums that have been involved in these polls. So yeah, without any further ado, lads, I'm not going to keep you too much longer. Let's jump into this video. Make sure you drop a like and make sure you're subbed to the channel and all that kind of thing, and let's go. Tesseract vibes, maybe? Okay, that's a statement intro. That's what I like to see from these metalcore albums, Leave the prog to the prog poles. The metalcore should just be straight into it. Right. Kind of like a deathcore vocal sound there. Death metal drums, deathcore vocals. I am very conscious this album is released in the same year as The Way It Ends by Currents. That album is like, I've actually ruined that album for myself. I've listened to it so many times already. Just a little update for anyone who's wondering where my thoughts lie with that album. I loved it when I first heard it, but even now it's like even better. So I am comparing, but obviously, you know, to a certain extent, I'll appreciate this. It's okay, right, let me pause. Like, just give me a minute, will ya? Okay, give me a second. Right, so initial thoughts. Obviously goes without saying, love the intro. How could you not like that intro? Straight in, no messing. 35-minute long album, so like not a lot of time for, you know, foreplay. Just straight in, slam me. But like I was saying, take it with a pinch of salt. I'm somewhat comparing it to The Way It Ends by Currents, purely because it came out the same year. So I'm like trying to think of, like, you know, album of the year from that, you know, that year, and thinking like, you know, I'm going to be stacking them up and thinking there's a lot of good albums from this year, you know, what one would I have considered to be the best? So to a certain extent, I'm comparing them that way, but obviously, you know, don't read too much into it. I am still going to appreciate it for what it is. Straight away, I like the guitars, but the drumming is a little bit like up-tempo. There's some up-tempo parts that are like that repetitive death metal-y sounds, that death metal kind of drumming pattern that can be a little bit like, I just love groove, and I love you know, something I can kind of really nod my head to. But I feel like the death metal drumming just it just kind of loses me a little bit. So I didn't mind it too much, but it's just more of like a kind of something I've noticed so far. So I don't know how much more we're going to get of it in this album. It's not enough to make me like say, oh, this sounds shit, but it's just like I am conscious of how it's an almost more, it's on the death side of metalcore. It's like almost like a death metalcore kind of thing, you know what I mean? But it's still loving the guitarists, liking the vocalists as well. So let's keep going. I like the dramatic like call outs and that kind of thing. Like, I Can't Breathe to start this track. He had a go in the initial track as well. Like, anytime you see, I just seen in the lyrics, because obviously I can see the lyrics before they actually sing that part of the song. I seen the go exclamation mark, and it's like, it's impossible to ruin a breakdown when you have a go before it. So let's keep going. That's a fun riff. It's just a big riff display. It's like, right, let's stop. New one. Just a riff showdown. thought the I got the cadence of the vocalist and a few parts of the song kind of reminded me of like it almost sounded like Chester Bennington on Hybrid Theory with like a pitch shift on it. Not that that's what it is, obviously, but it sounded kind of like that. Feature, or is there oh, hold on. Hold on. Something just hit me. This is I have heard one track by these guys. I've just copped it because when the female vocalist came on, I looked up the band just to see if this was like a feature, because there was no feature mentioned in the track. You can see it there, Down With Me. It just says Down With Me. So I was like, right, it's either a hidden feature that sometimes artists do, mainly in rap music, really, to be honest. It's only kind of a thing I've noticed in rap music. Generally, when there's a feature, it's shown. But I just looked them up and I seen that, like, you know, a lot of the artwork and a lot of the pictures have a female in it, so female vocalist. But I also then noticed that I was kind of like, hold on, there's not that many like metal bands that I can think of that have like female vocalists in it. I know there is a handful, but like there's a lot more male, obviously. And then I was like, hold on a minute, I've done another band, and then yeah, I can see that they have the feature with Courtney LaPlante, the Contraband track, which I did listen to. It was alright. It didn't blow me away, to be honest. I watched the music video for it as well, so I don't know if it kind of like took away from it slightly. I think I was a little bit distracted by everything that was going on. But I'm curious, is this in the same album? No, so Contraband was obviously from before this album. So, God, how long ago was it that I listened to Contraband? It doesn't feel like that long, like over, what, like a year and a half ago or something. So, unless Contraband was just a random single thrown in the middle of it, or if it was a part of their last album, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so they've obviously done a track with Courtney LaPlante before, and strangely enough, unless the female in this band does some of the harsh vocals, then she's like really, you know, been disguised throughout this whole track. Like, she must have really, really strong male sounding vocals, because I haven't heard her at all. Like, I would have never even considered it with being there being a girl singing on this track. But maybe she's just here for cleans, I'm not sure. But it's strange also that she's only like coming into the album like 4 tracks in or so. That's a bit odd to me, you know. But yeah, look, let's keep going. like the piano that you can just about hear in the back. I'm gonna like this because I feel like it has potential, but it's not like... Yeah, I'll leave that in the liked playlist for the moment, just to go back to it, just to remind me, because I feel like that chorus has a lot of replay value in it, but I just need to kind of find it. I think, like, I could feel it in there somewhere, but didn't quite get me enough. And the breakdown wasn't bad either. I like how it kind of kept getting slower, but there's those drums again that I was referring to earlier on. Kind of like monuments. Probably best riff of the album for me so far, maybe apart from the intro track. That one felt the most unique though, I think. First one was just like heavy. Not a bad chorus. Ooh.
Why would you save me? I'm not worth saving. You're suffocating. So just erase me, annihilate me, assassinate me. I'm not worth saving. So just erase me.
not a bad track. Just didn't really like veer me in any particular direction. Didn't hate it, didn't love it. Okay. Yeah, they like their call-outs, this band, don't they? Kinda reminds me of Thornhill. Yeah, anyone else get like kinda Thornhill vibes off this? Yeah, it's the tone of the guitar, Thornhill-esque. Yeah, that I see. I'm reluctant to kind of jump in too early with a lot of my metalcore picks because I feel with prog I can actually get a better idea of what what I'll like going forward and what I just don't really fuck with like right now when I'm listening to it. Because metalcore, like a lot of these tracks and bands that I'm listening to have got the melody in parts and they've got big breakdowns and that kind of thing, and it's like I can hear parts of it that I'm like for example, comparing it to Thornhill there, like I fucking love Thornhill and I can hear a lot of like parts of that remind me of tracks off the Dark Pool, and not even necessarily just tracks, but even just like the way the vocalist is delivering certain parts of that. And then like I said, the tone of the guitars as well is slightly like some of the tracks off the Dark Pool. So like, I mean, that in theory should be right up my street, and it's just kind of like right now I feel like this album is falling into the middle ground between like S tier metalcore, like I would consider The Way It Ends by Currents. That is like S tier from what I've heard anyway, from my like experience listening to metalcore. the best I've heard is Currents, Thornhill, the Dark Pool. You know, they would be definitely upper echelon. And then I like Polaris, the Death of Me isn't bad, but it's kind of like falling somewhere between my thoughts on the S tier albums that I just referred to, and then the way I kind of felt about the Death of Me by Polaris. I feel like it just kind of falls somewhere in there. Like it has like more appealing melody to me than the Death of Me did, but it's also like not grabbing my kind of, it's not inspiring me as much as those other two albums did. I've had no moments where I've kind of like, you know, my hairs have stood up and, you know, I've really felt like involved in the track. It's just kind of like good music that I'd happily listen to, but it's not going that like extra step up that like brings it to like an S tier album. And not every album has to be S tier, let's be honest. Like it's very rare to get like an S tier album, and it makes it even better when they do come around. But I'm also, in saying that, I am reluctant to put too much weight on that as well, because Architects Holy Hell has actually grown on me a lot, because I wasn't like the biggest fan of that album when I first heard it a few days ago, but after hearing like, you know, some of the tracks that I did kind of fuck with a little bit more, I've heard them a few more times, and then naturally, you know, when I'm just like walking, you know, to the train, or if I'm on the train sitting down, just listen to music, and like I'll play one of the tracks like Holy Hell, Royal Beggars, like I'll play them because they're the tracks that kind of brought me back, and then I'll just let the next track play, and then before you know it, you're kind of like picking up on other parts of different tracks that you're like, oh, do you know what, that is actually really good, and you remember it from the video, and I can remember not really fucking with it, and then I'm like, yeah, but like it has that melody that just needs to kind of click. So I am reluctant to go too far with saying, you know, like, this is where it falls right now, which it's always the hard part with doing these first time reactions, is because you want to be honest with how you feel right now, but you also have to, you know, incorporate the fact that your opinions could change in a few days, and all of a sudden people are like, you know, you need to, you know, people just get mad because you have an opinion. But yeah, I mean, not bad at all, but I still stand by, like, it kind of feels like it's falling right now into that middle ground between the Death of Me and Currents, for example, with the way it ends. So yeah, this is Fake Your Own Death. Based on lyrics are mental. aggressive as fuck. I don't know about these lyrics, but that felt to me like it had some actual, you know, real life story behind it, because it was saying, like, he was literally saying you actually faked your own death. So maybe I won't look too deep into that, but if anyone happens to know the backstory to that, let me know. If it's just like, if it's just mental lyrics for the sake of lyrics, or is it like, you know, is it one of these things that the artist actually come out and kind of said, you know, this is actually something that's happened in my past, seem a bit mental, and I don't know, I don't really understand the meaning or the logic behind why anyone would do that, faking your own death. I don't know, I don't really get it, but yeah, he's evidently cut all ties with this person because of it. So yeah, heavy track again, still feel the same. It's kind of like, it was a good track and like it was heavy as fuck, but like, yeah, it was okay, it was alright. Title track. That is different. Keep forgetting there's a female vocalist. She just strolls in randomly, like. Quite a strange mix. Oh, the guitars in this are mad. Probably the most unique spin on having like a dual vocalist, male and female combo. That sounds so sick. Like that section had like a real new metal sound to it. I don't know what to make of these vocals. that's the last track. It feels like it has an outro feel to it. It's actually not. No, there's 2 left. So the Attendant and That's Just Life is the last 2. That really had like last track vibes to it. So let's see where they go from here. This would be fun to play. That is nice. Piano adds so much to it, man. It just makes it feel so much, it gives it so much more space or something. Gives me Loathe vibes. What's the name of the song? I was only listening to it recently. It's kind of like Loathe, isn't it? It has Loathe's slower song feel. I feel like that shoegazy Deftones sound. Yeah, I love the piano. Really widens that mix out.
Maybe it's the medicine. Maybe it's the state I'm in. A toast to.
I think the song I'm thinking of is It Really You by Loathe. I'll get the sun to... Yeah. Is that it? I think the I actually really quite like the male vocalist. I just don't know if I'm really like that into the female vocals in it. She definitely had some melodic parts at the start of the album that I kind of fucked with. I think it was like the 4th track, which I think I liked. But since then, it's almost like it's too like poppy. Like it sounds kind of like way too mainstream. Like. Oh, they kind of faked it there. Alright, hold on. Who copied who? Is that After the Burial have like a riff that is almost... It's not the riff, it's literally the call out is Heavy Lies the Crown. That track rips. Let me get this up. After the Burial. I think it's called what's it called? It's literally called Heavy... I think it's Heavy Lies... Oh, it's Heavy Lies the Ground. That's what it is. Hold on. So what actually happened here was I included this video clip of me listening to this track, and basically YouTube said, hell no, your entire 52-minute video needs to be blocked because you included this small segment of After the Burial. So I've had to remove this, and now we have the video on YouTube. So let's get back into it. So yeah, that's where I was going with that one. Obviously he says Heavy Lies the Crown, but kind of sounded similar. I think it's the next part, isn't it? I will say, after listening to that After the Burial track, this sounds good, it sounds great, but I think the production is actually it's like almost like it's real tinny. Like it feels like it's lacking a bit of atmosphere in the background, and also lacking a bit of like bass to it as well. Whereas just after hearing that, like I probably wouldn't have made that I would probably wouldn't have picked up on that unless I had gone back to Heavy Lies the Ground by After the Burial, because After the Burial had like this eerie kind of ambience in the background as it broke down, and also had like more of a bassy kind of bulkier sound to it, whereas this does sound quite like thinned out. So that's just an observation, but it still sounds good. It's like it's a sick riff. Okay, that was the ultimate, like, shut the fuck up, Drew. That was sick. That did feel a lot more fuller. I think it's the best track on the album so far. There's that atmosphere, that ambience in the background, that building. There's like a kind of an EDM bounce to it as well. Yeah, this is the best on the album. Yeah, that's straight in my basket. Give me that big breakdown one more time. Okay, they kind of opened it up a bit more for this one. I'm not mad. It's an outro track. Okay, yeah, I'm never ever attempting to play this. Oh, that's an insane riff. Holy shit. Yeah, they went all in for this track, man. I think this like single-handedly dragged this album away from The Death of Me and more towards the way it ends. But like, it's not like, when I say towards, I'm talking like there's a range here, and it's you know, it's not on the halfway point. It's still a good bit away. Like, it's still a long way from The Way It Ends by Currents. But yeah, not a bad album whatsoever. Nothing really like hyped me that much. That last track definitely like kind of saved it, like a rating or two. Lads, when I say I haven't stopped listening to this song, I'm pretty sure this is literally this happened already in one of the videos where I was like finishing up an album and then this Better Days comes on. I'd say I have played that like world record amounts of times this year. Like, I'd say I've got the most plays for this track this year already. Like, I haven't stopped listening to it. It's just like, I haven't gotten sick of it either. It's just so goddamn good. But anyway, that is a perfect example of S tier metalcore that just came on there. And I just don't think that this is like in the same ballpark. It's good. I don't know how I feel about the female vocalist. I just feel like it was very like, I'm not mad about like pop music and that kind of thing, but that did feel like it was really kind of in that ballpark where it was just maybe a little bit too far and didn't feel too like didn't feel too creative. She's got a lovely voice, don't get me wrong, but it just didn't feel too natural or something. It was almost like putting in a female vocalist for the sake of, I don't think she was really necessary on the track or on the album, I should say. Thought the male vocalist was very, very, very good. Overall, there was definitely parts that I feel like they maybe could have upped it a little bit by like adding a little bit more bass to the guitars. Like, it just felt like there wasn't that underlying presence with a lot of the riffs, like there is in, for example, when I just played After the Burial there. I just feel like that like had that more of a, you know, bit more of a kick to it, you know. But overall, not a bad album whatsoever. Again, I go back to my earlier thoughts where I don't want to like pigeonhole myself and say like this is just something. Like, there is some good tracks on this, and I feel like this one has more replay value than The Death of Me by Polaris. And I just keep going back to that one because it's always one of these things that you guys bring back up when you say like, oh Drew, you should go back to it and give it another go. And maybe one day I will like kind of return to it for a video, or even just do like another kind of segment in another video where I kind of discuss if I listen to it again. But I just haven't had any inspiration to go back to that album. But then, like I said, with the Architects Holy Hell album reaction, I like kind of ate my words a little bit because I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I didn't shit on it, but I just said it was maybe a little bit overhyped. I'd still say it still probably falls into the overhyped category, but it definitely, I can see why it has a lot of attention, you know. It is a good album, and especially for its time, I guess. But yeah, lads, I'm gonna rest on maybe like a 7 for this album. I was gonna say 6.5, but I think that's harsh because it's not a bad album. I can definitely see why it will have replayability in certain segments. I can see why people will really fuck with it. It has some big heavy riffs. You know, it's obviously got the more melodic segments with the female vocalist coming in as well, but it just, I don't know, maybe it just didn't catch me in the melody segments enough for me to really kind of bring it up to that like 7.5, 8. So I'd say like a 7.2, maybe a 7, yeah. What I actually should do is, and I think I had this suggested to me at one point, is actually have like a list of ratings. So if someone wants to volunteer themselves to go through my last few album reactions and try and find my ratings and make a list and send them to me, I will actually use that to you know, kind of benchmark where albums fall in the future, because it is nice to have a benchmark, because it's, you know, it's easy to just kind of throw out a rating right now because it's like just fresh in my mind, but then I'll go back and I'll be like, wait, how is this album rated the same as this album? That just doesn't make any sense because this album's way better. But again, the rating system, it can only be, you know, taken so seriously as well, because it's a first listen. It's very hard. It's more just to get an overall feel for the album, and this one feels like a 7-ish. You know, I'd listen to some tracks Like there was nothing that was really like skip worthy. That's the kind of a sign where it's like, right, I'm not going to really go back to this album much. It felt like there was a lot of just like solid tracks. Some tracks that were like, right, maybe like 2, 3 max that were like, right, okay, that's a very good track. In particular the last track, but I think maybe it was a little bit, you know, too little too late maybe at that point. But overall not bad. Yeah, like high 6, low 7s is the range that this one's falling into for the time being. But again, I will remain open-minded and I will give it a few more listens and see how it falls over time. But initial thoughts, not bad at all, lads. So yeah, that is going to be me for the video, lads. If you did enjoy, please do drop a like. Make sure you drop any of your feedback in the comment section down below, guys. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I'm signing out. Look after yourselves. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.